Yeah, organization. Good evening. I'd like to call to order the regular City Commission meeting this February the 12th, 2024. Could I have a roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Commissioner Dollison?
Here.
Commissioner Mercer?
Here.
Commissioner Dantzler?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Yates?
Here.
And Mayor Birdsong.
Thank you. My agenda doesn't say who's doing the invocation. Oh, Father Paul Head, the written one does. Would you stand if able, and then we will be led in the Pledge of Allegiance by Vanessa Castillo, our city clerk.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, you have given broken humanity dominion over the earth, and you have told us that if we call to you and seek your face, you will answer us and lead us in the way we should go. You will also stand aside if we choose to do it our own way. I ask your blessing on these, our representatives, whom we have given charge over our resources here in Winter Haven. Help them to be good stewards of the resources they have been given, not only for your people today, but as a legacy for those who will follow us. Give them knowledge to know what they can do, give them wisdom to know what they should do, and give them insight to know the difference. I ask your blessing on this meeting tonight for those who will state their case and those who will hear them. Let everyone work toward the common good, and let whatever happens tonight be a blessing to you and a benefit to your people. I ask all these things in the name of my Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. It's time for our presentations. The first presentation will be for Christine Samuels Week. Commissioners, would you join me now?
Mayor and Commissioners, Deputy City Manager will read both proclamations this evening once you're set.
Whereas the City of Winter Haven recognizes how diversity and inclusion is woven into the fabric of American life and solidifies the foundation of strong communities. And whereas in 2021, the City of Winter Haven decided to begin celebrating Black History Month by recognizing local heroes who have made a significant impact on the community, and whereas a group of community leaders came together and identified local heroes that blazed new trails while demonstrating passion, dedication, and empathy or compassion for the community. And whereas one hero will be recognized for each week of Black History Month 2024, and whereas Christine Samuel is recognized as one of these heroes. And whereas Christine Samuels has dedicated a large portion of her career to social and public service, demonstrating an unwavering commitment to enhancing her community. This commitment has led her to assume her dream job as the Director of Diversity and Inclusivity for the City of Winter Haven and has made a profound impact on individuals with whom she collaborates. And whereas Ms. Samuels would say, always leave a place or a person better than you found them. If you love something or someone, you will serve them with gladness. And these are words that can guide us all. Now, therefore, Nathaniel J. Birdsong, Jr., Mayor of the City of Winter Haven, does hereby proclaim the week of February 18th, 2024 as Christine Samuel Week in the City of Winter Haven. In witness whereof, he has hereunto set his hand and caused the seal of the City of Winter Haven, Florida to be affixed this 12th day of February, 2024.
Good evening. Mayor Birdsong, commissioners, city managers, attorney, city clerks, fellow employees, to all the wonderful citizens here tonight, to my family and friends. What a night tonight is. I'm overjoyed with this night. May I first start by thanking God for his many, many blessings. I do understand why I am here. I know that it was his grace and his mercy. I recognized early in my career that I was born to serve. I love doing for others. I would like to just take this opportunity to thank the City of Winter Haven for this golden opportunity to serve my city as Director of Diversity and Inclusivity for these past 3.5 years. It has been a challenge and a joy at the same time. Working with us, bringing us together, it's not an easy task, but what a joy it has been. I would like to say that my family, my mother and father, moved us to Winter Haven in 1966. And I have two of my sisters here, my oldest sister Ernestine, and my other sister Hattie is here tonight. We were told that Winter Haven would be a place that our life would be better. And truly, we've had a great life here in Winter Haven. Our parents died early, but they left us with so much love, so much joy, and to care about each other. I would also like to say that my church family, Dr. John Hallman and Sharon Hallman, my leaders, my church family, St. Paul Worship Center, and all of you that's here tonight. They have been so loving. I remember as a young person coming to Winter Haven, they made me youth president. My children were young, but I served, and I realized early in my life that I couldn't do any and everything because the young people in my church was watching. My pastor now was in my youth group, so you remember how long that's been. I also had an opportunity to serve with kids in trouble. I worked for the Youth Alternative Facility. I was an administrator for kids in trouble, and it was such a joy. But I learned how to work with kids in trouble, boys mostly, because I have 3 boys. I had 3 boys. My youngest son is deceased, but I have 2 other sons. But anyway, it's been a pleasure just to serve. Because what I know for sure, and there are several people I just want to say thank you to for always being there for me. I would like to thank Mr. Hurd. He's not here tonight. First, let me do Roosevelt Smith, who was my teacher. He taught me at night school. I want to thank Dr. Tucker at Polk Junior College. She was my teacher. Mr. Mitchell, Elizabeth and Arnell Bryant Willis at Alfie, Bishop Lorenzo Moore, Bishop Cochran, Jerry Luce, Mr. Hurd, and last but not least, Dr. Frejo is here. Dr. Frejo. When I took the job here at the city, it was a new endeavor, and I didn't know how I was going to get it done. But I want to tell you, I met a friend who has helped me and guided me along the way. And I just would like to say thank you to Dr. Frejo, and thank you to the MLK committee. Thank you, T. Michael, for allowing this to happen in our city. Thank the MLK committee for selecting me as one of the heroes for this year. Thank you, thank you, thank you. God bless.
Picture with the flowers. We can redo it.
I caught it on the fly, but I didn't make a note about it. I don't know what time we're on here. I've been saving it on the fly today to make sure that it's right.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm going to make a note of that. Yeah, I'm gonna make a note of that and just.
This is my son Christopher. He just arrived. My grandson.
All right.
Wow.
Everyone, if you can see me, then I can see you. All right, on the count of three. 1, 2, 3. And let's do one more. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you.
She's the queen bee. For sure.
All right, our next proclamation is for Dorothea Mitchell Tillman.
Good afternoon.
Whereas the City of Winter Haven recognizes how diversity and inclusion is woven into the fabric of American life and solidifies the foundation of strong communities. And whereas in 2021, the City of Winter Haven decided to begin celebrating Black History Month by recognizing local heroes who have made a significant impact on the community. And whereas a group of community leaders came together and identified local heroes that blaze new trails while demonstrating passion, dedication, and empathy or compassion for the community. And whereas one hero will be recognized for each week of Black History Month 2024. And whereas Dorothea Mitchell Tillman is recognized as one of these heroes. And whereas Dorothea has made a profound impact on the youth of her community throughout her career as a library media specialist for elementary, middle, and high school students. Even in her retirement, Ms. Tillman's unwavering dedication to service resonates across the community as she extends her commitment to assisting the elderly, further contributing to the well-being of our community. And whereas Ms. Tillman would say, it's better to serve than to be served, so serve while you are able to. And these are words that can guide us all. Now therefore, Nathaniel J. Birdsong Jr., Mayor of the City of Winter Haven, Florida, does hereby proclaim the week of February 25th, 2024 as Dorothea Mitchell Tillman Week in the City of Winter Haven. In witness whereof, he has hereunto set his hand and caused the seal of the City of Winter Haven, Florida to be affixed this 12th day of February 2024.
Birdsong, the city commissioners, and the city attorney, city manager, I can't see the other part, deputy, city clerk. I thank all of you. I really am thankful and greatly honored to receive this award. And I would like to thank my Lord and Jesus Christ for just blessing me with the strength, the insight, and the passion to serve the community of Winter Haven in the ways that I do, with the help and support of my husband and my family. I had no idea that my name was being submitted as a candidate for this award. It was done like the Undercover Boss TV show. My friend Beulah Thomas started asking me questions like, why did I do the things that I do? And other questions. And she asked me several times, and I tried to kind of not answer. But I had to tell her. So I asked her if she knew something that I didn't know, because it sounds like she was writing my obituary. But she guaranteed that she wasn't. So I want to thank you, Beulah, for just thinking enough of me to submit my name to be a candidate for this award. But on a more serious note, through my childhood experiences from home, church, school and community, I've learned that it is better to serve than to be served, as long as you're able to. And that's my motto. To my community, my Hearst Chapel family, friends, loved ones, I want to thank you for your support. And I would like to encourage everyone to give service a try, just as our Savior did. It is a fulfilling experience to give to others, as you would want somebody to give to you if you were in need. I want to again thank you.
All right. Look right here for me, and I'll be count of three. 1, 2, 3. We're gonna do one more. 1, 2, 3. Perfect.
All right, we're gonna move it, y'all. Again, congratulations to the recipients this evening. And so the next thing on our agenda is development of note. We have nothing, so we have our minutes. So I entertain a motion for the minutes.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
motion to approve all 6 sets of minutes.
All right, thank you. Is there any discussion? I will now close the commission meeting and open the public hearing. If there's anyone who'd like to speak to these minutes, you may do so at this time. Seeing none, close the public hearing, reopen the city commission meeting. All those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye, opposes by the same sign. Comments from the audience? No one signed up. However, if there's anyone here that would like to address the city commission, you may do so at this time by coming to the podium and stating your name and address for the record.
Good evening. My name is Victoria. And the address?
Yes.
3740 Crystal Beach Road, Winter Haven. I'm a property owner on Central Avenue. Also, I own a small house on Avenue E Northeast.
Can I have your last name, please?
Del Castillo.
Easy.
I just wanted to mention something briefly that I've learned about in the last couple of years, and that is that fluoride is a neurotoxin, and everybody right now can put in their phones 2012 Harvard University neurotoxin fluoride and see that that study covered over, or that paper that claims that fluoride is a neurotoxin, 19 studies over a period of something like 80 years, long-term studies that prove the following. Lowers the intelligence of children 6 points, creates dementia, creates Alzheimer's, creates bone cancer, and is also bad for our teeth. So I've learned that there's only 8 countries on Earth out of 195 countries that allow fluoride in their water. They include Colombia, the United States, Israel, Australia, Malaysia, Ireland, and 2 more. That's from 2016, from what I know. So it's very dangerous, and it's in the Winter Haven water. And it's not a joke that business owners know how unsavory is the water of Winter Haven. I think everybody knows that. And we're paying for it. And I got a water report about a year ago. I can find it, but I think you all know. We have a small amount, but we have water in our water. And I think it's very important that we examine this, because all the other countries that now no longer have fluoride in their water was from conversations on a local level, from England, from France, Spain, all of this is how it happened. It was when people realized that somehow we were told by Sigmund Freud's nephew that fluoride was good for our teeth, etc. Then people just assumed that it was good to keep in the water, when it's actually a poison. So that's what I wanted to say, and I hope it generates conversation.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? All right, we will move on to ordinance's second reading. City Attorney, would you read by title only, 9A?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ordinance number O-24-08, an ordinance amending Chapter 21, Article Roman numeral 2, Division 6, Section 21-103 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Winter Haven, Florida, for the purpose of amending marine structure requirements, providing for administrative correction of scrivener's errors, repealing all ordinances in conflict herewith, providing severability, providing for codification, and providing an effective date. Thank you.
Thank you. City Manager?
Mayor Commissioners, in 2019, the City Commission amended Section 21-103 of the Code of Ordinances, updating the city's marine structure requirements, and during that update, the length and surface area maximums for marine structures were updated. The maximum roof area square footage were also created. In recent years, dock contractors and residents have sought to have larger roof areas over their docks to protect their watercraft. Section 21-103 allows for a single-family marine structure, residential marine structure, to have up to 2 personal watercraft docked to it. After discussions with local dock builders, it was determined an increase in roof area is warranted to allow for more than 1 slip to be covered on a marine structure. Therefore, staff is recommending to increase the maximum roof area of single-family residential marine structures from 500 square feet to 750 square feet, and increase the maximum roof area for non-single-family residential marine structures from 625 square feet to 1,000 square feet. There's no direct financial impact to the city associated with this request, and the Planning Commission did hear this on January 2nd and voted unanimously to recommend its approval. Staff recommends City Commission approve Ordinance O-24-08 on second and final reading. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioners?
Mr. Mayor, I move for approval of O-2408.
Thank you.
And public hearing.
I will now close the commission meeting, open the public hearing. Anyone from the audience that would like to speak to this ordinance may do so at this time. Seeing none, close the public hearing, reopen the city commission meeting. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed by the same sign. Hearing none. Commissioners, we have the consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
motion to approve the consent agenda as a whole.
Thank you. I will now close the city commission meeting, open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak to the consent agenda may do so at this time. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing, reopen the city commission meeting. Is there any discussion?
Mr.
Any
Mayor.
questions? Yes.
Mr. Mayor, I got one on item 10A. This, I think I talked to T about this, has to do with the to T, you got anything more to add after our conversation, or?
No, I just share, and I apologize that I was not able to be with you last Wednesday when you had discussion on this. I did listen in on the YouTube video of that. So that lift station that's located there at the Mainstay Healthcare property, Station 115, that is a station that needs to be replaced and is in our schedule for replacement. So as often is the case when we're dealing with development that's occurring next to an area where we have either a utility line or a lift station, an infrastructure piece to be improved, if we can work that out through a developer's agreement with the site developer, site owner, that is usually to our best interest, and that was the case here. So the city had planned to replace that, doing it in conjunction with the land development side of the property owner. We would pay the $545,000 for that replacement. As was noted, that has gone a little bit longer than expected. There is some work that has been done already on that lift station, so there is a gravity main that is feeding to that. And I'll ask Mark Bombard if he's here, if he could step to the podium, because he may be able to give some greater insight than I on this. The wet well aspect, I believe, has also been partially constructed, if not fully constructed. The panels and pumps for this lift station have been procured by the city. That would be part of our investment into the project as well, and we have that on site now. So it is progressing as we would want, not as fast as we want, but that's the case a lot of times with what we see in construction nowadays. So at this point, because there is a delay in that construction, costs have increased. That developer has agreed through this amended development agreement to cover 50% of those additional cost overruns. If we were to start this project today on our own, we would be paying 100% of that total cost. So this is actually a good situation for us in the sense that we're not having to cover 100% of the total cost of the reconstruction of that lift station. It is in bad condition. It's one of the last lift stations of this nature, and Mark, I forget how you described it, but it's
an old lift station, a can station.
Can station.
Where the sewage is in one basin and the pumps are in another, and it's just antiquated. You can't get parts for them anymore.
So that's the project that's underway.
Okay, so just so I understand, and that's great, just on these situations, do we we front all the money and reimburse?
No, it's reimbursement. This is
So they do it
reimbursement.
and then we reimburse them? Or we do it and they reimburse us?
We reimburse that.
We reimburse them upon the work being completed and inspected and accepted by us.
So my point, my question is, shouldn't we maybe in the future, when it's something that needs to be done, go ahead and do it ourselves and then bill them? Or, I mean, because I'm sitting there thinking, if this was needed 4 years ago, it must really be needed now.
Those really
So-
need it now. Yeah,
Why
it's-
would we
it's,
not, as a matter of policy or whatever? I'm just asking about the policy aspect of it, on how you guys view this thing, because I'm glad we're getting some help. That's not my point at all. And I'm going to vote for this, but I'm just curious how it works.
When we anticipate a developer coming in, it works to everybody's advantage to work together on it. Under one contractor, we require three bids. So it's just like we send it out to bid, and get proposals back in and evaluate them and go with typically the lowest responsive bidder. This was the same situation. Unfortunately, something happened with the developer in this case. It's kind of an odd one out. It doesn't usually happen that way.
So if this development doesn't happen, we're still going to go through with this regardless? Or?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Commissioner Dancer, each one of these is evaluated on a case-by-case basis. There's not this is the absolute singular way that we do it every time. Sometimes it's that developer has to extend, say, a water or sewer line to get to their property, which is an expense that they incur. It's in our best interest if we can upsize the size of that line. So if you're having to put in an 18-inch line, and we would benefit from having a 24-inch line, we'll pay the difference to have you install a 24-inch line on our behalf. So we look at those constantly. Pretty much every development that comes in, we're seeing is there infrastructure that needs to be improved there, and can we do it through some type of developer's agreement that would save the city time and resources and particularly money in the project.
Dig once.
Dig once, you hit it on the head. It is dig once, because if we go in and do it, you got two contractors potentially on site and you run into conflicts with that. This is just a unique one that it's taken longer to get done, and if it doesn't happen fast enough, then we'll have to revisit how we do get that done. One of the things that I've asked staff in a conference call this past week was that when we do development agreements going forward, we've never had the issue of the timing that came into play with this one. So we need to evaluate how to include language in future agreements that puts some time frame for performance within there.
Okay,
So
that's good. All right, I'm done, sir.
Mayor,
All right,
I have a question.
yes.
You said this is the last can station?
It's the last can station. We have one other antiquated lift station out there, 119, that's out, that was bid earlier this year, but we didn't receive any bids in that were within the price range we thought, so we have two old ones left.
Right, I'm glad to hear that you're getting rid of all of those. As most people don't know, there are some employee safety concerns on those can stations, so.
Their confined space is awful and out
Right.
there.
And gases.
All right, thank you. Any other questions? All those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposes by the same sign. Hearing none. The consent agenda in its entirety is adopted. Resolution R2408, would you read by title only, City Attorney?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution number R-24-08, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Winter Haven, Florida, designating land situated within the corporate limits of the City of Winter Haven, Florida as a brownfield area for the purposes of environmental remediation, rehabilitation, and economic development, providing for terms and conditions of the designation and identifying the responsible person for remediation and rehabilitation, providing for transmittal of the designation to the Florida Department of Environmental Protection, providing for an effective date, general location south of Martin Luther King Boulevard Northwest / State Road 544 and west of First Street North / State Road 549. The area covered by this request is plus or minus 5.41 acres. Thank you.
Thank you. City Manager?
Mayor and Commissioners, Blue Winter Haven LLC submitted a petition almost a year ago to the day on February 16th of 2023 for the city to establish a green reuse area in accordance with state statutes. The area contained within this request is 5.41 plus or minus acres. The establishment of the green reuse area will open additional funding opportunities to the petitioner, in this case Blue Winter Haven LLC, for this site. This designation does not impact or apply to any other properties beyond the petitioner's property. So basically what this is you have a former piece of property that was formerly a grove and operated as a grove. And so when they were developing it, they had to mitigate for soil conditions and other matters that would be impactful to the site, which they did so. They are then available to, through their application and their efforts to research this further, apply for, I believe it's federal dollars that flow through a state program to offset some of that cost they incurred during that cleanup effort. Commissioner Dancer, you had posed a question to me, I believe it was Friday, about public notification on this. There was actually a public meeting that was held on this matter on May 18th of 2023. It was publicly noticed and advertised, held at Jewett Middle Academy, specifically tied to this application. So at this point, they've done the work. This project, if you've driven by there, it's a beautiful property that's been developed. This just goes back for them to offset some of their mitigation costs they incurred in developing that site through the state program. There's no direct financial impact to the city as a result of this request. Again, it ties strictly back to the folks with Blue Winter Haven LLC and their petition, and staff recommends the commission approve Resolution R24-08. You'll recall also that this resolution, because of the regulations within the statute, required 2 readings and an advance notice of that as well, which we have accomplished, and so this is your second reading, and it is ready for your vote this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioners?
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Move for approval of Resolution R2408.
Thank you.
And public hearing.
Thank you.
And Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry to interrupt again, but I do believe that the attorney representing Blue Winter Haven LLC is also here this evening.
He's here. All right. I will now close the city commission meeting, open the public hearing. If there's anyone that would like to speak to this particular resolution, you may do so at this time by stating your name and address for the record and coming to the podium. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing, reopen the city commission meeting. Is there any discussion?
Yep. I got another question,
Yes.
if you don't mind, Mayor. T. Michael, you go on vacation and we have all these great discussions, and I'm glad you were able to listen to us the other day.
First of all, I wasn't on vacation. I was on official city
All right,
business.
You made that very clear,
I'll
Friday.
make that abundantly
No holiday
clear.
for you. I get it. So, to be sure, because I was out there and they're putting sod down and they're landscaping, the cleanup work has been done. All the stuff that oh, here he comes. Yeah, would you just answer that question for me so I can rest at night?
Yeah, good evening. My name is Brett Brummond with the Goldstein Environmental Law Firm. We have offices at 2100 Ponce de Leon Boulevard in Coral Gables, and we represent Blue Winter Haven LLC. Yes, Commissioner, cleanup work has been completed. In February of 2023, the applicant did excavate about 100 tons of soil from an old, in the area of an old storage shed where we think chemical mixing took place back when this was a citrus grove. That issue has been resolved. The soil was removed and disposed off-site, and clean backfill was brought in to fill the excavated area.
So that's what they call a kind of environmental study, or is that what you call it, or?
We call that a source removal, where we're removing the contaminated soil, but that was identified after an environmental study where soil borings were taken in locations across the property to identify any contaminants in the soil from that citrus grove.
And all you're trying to do is get reimbursed for that expense that you incurred last year, or in 2022, or whenever it was, or 2023?
Correct, yes. The Florida Brownfields Redevelopment Program has several incentives available to help encourage the development of affordable housing, and one of them is an opportunity to recoup those costs through a refund on sales taxes paid on construction materials. And this money would come from the state, nothing would come from the city.
Oh, it's sales tax on sales of materials, okay.
Yes.
So that's great, I hope you get it, and I'm glad that you cleaned everything up. There will be no more signs posted out there for public comment. That's all been done, and this was done like a year ago, right? So we're just now applying for the relief at this point, but doesn't matter.
Correct, yes. Yeah, we've finished this at the end of the process, and I hear the development is nearly ready to open in the next several months.
Okay, that's great.
Mr. Mayor, I noticed that
Thank you.
The project is beautiful. I mean, landscaping looks wonderful. I guess for the fencing, I'm assuming there is retention, significant retention. I'm assuming that area has been fenced for the retention area?
I'm not certain. I've only worked on the environmental side, so any area of impacted soil that has been removed. So I can't speak to retention area or the fencing of the property. But as far as the environmental goes, the contamination has been resolved.
Oh, I got one other point, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
For what it's worth, in my research, I found out the difference between a brownfield and a greenfield, John.
Okay.
A brownfield is like an industrial property, it's already been built. A greenfield it's never been developed. So did you tell me that already, or?
I said that there statutory distinctions were probably,
That's what it is, for whatever it's worth.
the difference
Like
between commercial versus residential or developed versus undeveloped. So,
Like the fertilizer plant there on 17 is a brownfield because it was developed, and this is a greenfield because it was never developed. Right?
and ordinarily, yes, and ordinarily the types of contamination by virtue of the uses also goes into play. And I'll defer to Mr. Brummond, who's the environmental attorney expert on that, but I think that's probably fair to say.
Yes, that's correct. Yes, good distinction between greenfield and brownfield. But we also chose the name green reuse area here because the statute gives you the ability to name the designated area anything you like. Obviously, calling it a brownfield area does not reflect what the property is now becoming, a beautiful residential development. So we chose the name green reuse area to reflect that. It was a former citrus grove with environmental issues, but now it is a brand new area that has been ready for reuse.
Well, I don't mean to be a stickler. I'm just saying I'm really glad that the kids are going to be living out there will not be playing in contaminated soil. That's what I wanted to be sure of, and I'm satisfied now, so thank you, Mayor.
All right. Anyone else?
Will there be any type of signage, new signage relative to traffic patterns in that area? Because there are challenges, there will be some challenges, I guess, with the ability to turn onto First Street, whether you're turning left or coming off of S there or not. So I'm just concerned about if there are any plans for the city to update signage in that area so that traffic will not be a challenge for those new residents.
I'd have to defer to the site plan. I don't recall the site plan off the top of my head, but we can pull that and look at what was approved as far as signage and any traffic improvements in that area, and I can get that information for you.
All right. Anyone else? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed by the same sign. Hearing none, Resolution R-2408 is adopted. Resolution R-2410, would you read by title only, City Attorney?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution R-24-10, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Winter Haven, Florida, affirmatively accepting the conveyance of that certain real property from BF 1500 LLC, a Florida limited liability company, to the City of Winter Haven, Florida for lands as more particularly described in the special warranty deed executed by BF 1500 LLC, a Florida limited liability company, to the City of Winter Haven, Florida, and recorded in Official Records Book 12948, pages 0436 through 0440 of the Public Records of Polk County, Florida, and providing for an effective date. Thank you.
Thank you. City Manager?
Honorable Mayor and Commissioners, on December 11th, the Commission approved entering into an agreement for the purchase and sale of real property with BF 1500 LLC. That transaction took place on December 15th, and a special warranty deed was delivered for the property. That warranty deed was recorded on December 20th. Proposed Resolution R-2410 formally accepts the real property from BF 1500 LLC. Staff recommends City Commission approve Resolution R-24-10. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioners?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
motion to approve Resolution R-2410.
Thank you. I will now close the City Commission meeting, open the public hearing. Is there anyone who would like to speak to this resolution from the audience? Come forth, state your name and address for the record.
Hi, Victoria Del Castillo, 3740 Crystal Beach Road. How much was this property? How much did it cost?
This is the Bradco Farms property. This was a $10 million land acquisition.
That Winter Haven, the City of Winter Haven bought?
Yes.
For what purpose?
For aquifer recharge and storage, and for future nature park and operational facilities for Winter Haven water.
I don't know if the public is able to comment on this, but I think it would be great to have a more extensive understanding of that purchase for the citizens of Winter Haven.
I just would like to say to you, ma'am, I'm sorry that this is my first time seeing you here. We've had discussions about this. I mean, this is not the first time on the agenda. I just wanted you to know that. Okay. Thank you. Anyone else? I've closed the public hearing, reopen the City Commission meeting. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposes by the same sign. Hearing none, the resolution is adopted. I'd just like to say to you, ma'am, that this is a very important project to the City of Winter Haven. One of the major challenges that the entire Polk County is going to face has to do with fresh water, drinking water, and this is a project that will contribute to alternative water supply for the City of Winter Haven, and so we're very excited about it.
Great.
All right.
Thank you. Has to be with fluoride, so I'm all about it.
Okay. Resolution R-2413. Would you read by title only, City Attorney?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution R-24-13, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Winter Haven, Florida, reappointing members to the Affordable Housing Advisory Committee, affirming terms of the members of the Affordable Housing Advisory Committee, nunc pro tunc, to January 1st, 2024, and providing for severability, repeal of conflicting resolutions for the Administrative Correctional Supervisors, and providing for an effective date. Thank you.
Thank you. City Manager?
Mayor and Commissioners, Section 3-302 of the Winter Haven Affordable Housing Advisory Committee bylaws state the members of the AHAC shall be chosen by the Winter Haven City Commissioners from a list of applicants compiled from citywide solicitation for members, including recommendations from the AHAC. Section 3-303 states that members shall be appointed for 2-year terms, and that term shall begin on January 1st and end on December 31st. There are no limits on the number of subsequent terms that may be served. Current AHAC members and their dates of appointment are noted within your fact sheet. Several of these have expired. All of the individuals that are presently serving on the AHAC have expressed desire for reappointment, and so that is what this resolution will do. There are currently 4 vacancies on the AHAC as well, and staff is actively seeking applicants to fill those seats, and will present a list of applicants for City Commission consideration for appointment in the near future. Staff's request is for the City Commission to consider affirmation of the reappointment of the committee members whose terms have expired, and clarify that the terms for all members shall commence January 1st of 2024 and expire December 31st of 2025. As stated, those members whose terms have expired have submitted reappointment forms to the city clerk indicating their desire to continue service on the Affordable Housing Advisory Committee. There's no direct financial impact to this. Staff recommends the City Commission affirm the reappointment of the aforementioned Affordable Housing Advisory Committee members for a term commencing January 1st of 2024 and expiring December 31st, 2025 by passing Resolution R-2413 and authorize City Manager or designee to take any further actions related to those said appointments. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Before I make the motion to approve this, I'm wondering if we can add another person. We got an application in from Dwee Nguyen the next day. I know it was sent to me by Diane. I don't know if we all got it or whether we all have to see the application to vote on him, because we're having a meeting tomorrow. I don't know if we can add him at this stage or how does that work? But I've seen the application. It's a stellar application, but
I'm not familiar with the application, so that's, if the commission so chooses to do that, I'm not familiar with the application.
well, he applied for, we got 4 openings and he applied. He came to the meeting and applied, sent his application in. Diane sent it around to, I know I got a copy. I think the whole committee got it. We got 4 openings. We need to get these people on. If we can get him on here tonight, great. If not, we got to wait 2 weeks, but I'd just soon get him on tonight if there's not an objection to that. But if you want to wait for the application, I get it, but, you know.
Mr. Dancer, just for a matter in the commission, the resolution before you does have the specific names and positions of those. So if you wanted to supplement that, as the city manager noted, you're free to do that. But it may be, if we have the application and can be processed, we can bring that back at a subsequent, perhaps the meeting on February 26th.
Well, I know we'll get to it. I'm just trying to, they're having an AHAC meeting tomorrow, and if we can get him on there, that's great. If not, he'll have to wait. But we do have enough to conduct business, but we need more members on this committee, is what the bottom line is, so we can have more inputs.
I just think it would be appropriate for us to just go with the resolution as it is, but we can let him know that he's in.
Okay.
Just not official.
All right, well, then he won't be able to participate.
He won't be able to
tomorrow.
vote. Right.
Okay.
He could still participate, he just couldn't vote.
Wouldn't be able to vote.
They got to make some votes tomorrow. We just got to make sure we have a quorum there, and that's been our issue all along, is getting quorums at these meetings, and we've got some votes that we have to take tomorrow for SHIP funds, and we just have to make sure we have a quorum there. That's why I'm trying to get more people on the committee.
I'm just concerned about us setting a precedent, to do something on the fly without all of us basically reviewing it like we normally do.
And you guys didn't get the copies of it? Okay.
No.
I don't recall.
Okay, well, I'll still make a motion to approve the slate that we've got, because we definitely need to get this on the right track here, so that'd be great.
Thank you.
Motion.
Thank you. I will now close the city commission meeting, open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak to Resolution R2413, you may do so at this time. Come forward, state your name and address for the record.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioner, Abdul Rahim Al Khatib, 1435 10th Street, Northeast Winter Haven, Florida. I rise this evening on behalf of some of the members of the AHAC committee, of which I am one, and thanking you for the reappointment and Commissioner Dancer as our commission representative there. And I'd like to support his asking for the additional person to be added. I don't know that, but I think, isn't it the case that on tomorrow, we can actually vote the person in ourselves?
So if I can, I'll just weigh in. The bylaws say that the city commission appoints the members of the AHAC upon recommendation of the AHAC committee. So tomorrow at the AHAC committee, they can review his application and make a recommendation. We can bring forward that recommendation to the city commission for official approval.
Which is what I suggested. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
As a rebuttal, the issue is if we don't have a quorum tomorrow, we cannot make this application for our SHIP funds. And that's why we've got one person can be absent and we don't have a quorum.
That's right.
That's what I'm trying to get to, is we're cutting it we're cutting it close, and we've got to get this app submitted to get this SHIP funding. And if we don't have, I think we have to have 5 people there tomorrow to have a quorum, and if we don't, then we can't apply. So, whatever. I mean.
Eric, have you polled the group to see who's?
Yes, Ms. Diane's been polling the group. It appears we'll have a quorum, and we are going to reach out again tomorrow morning just to make sure that everybody is going to be in attendance.
Good. Okay. Thank you. Anyone else? Yes.
I just want to say, I don't think you should have anything that has no term limits. I mean, if you did 18 years or something, no term limits on...
Ma'am, could you please state your name and address for the record?
Kim Davis, 354 Terra Nova Boulevard, Winter Haven, 33884.
Okay. And so what are you speaking on?
So to have no term limits on how many times they can still be on it, I mean, the point of being a leader is to multiply yourself and to bring others in. I think if we're having trouble filling committees and stuff, it means that as a city, we need to do a better job of bringing people in to get involved. So I just want to make that suggestion that having a term limit, even if it is for an extended period of time, would still be a good idea. So that we can circulate more people into the functioning parts of the city.
Thank you. Anyone else? I'll close the public hearing, reopen the city commission meeting. Any other discussion? All those in favor of the resolution motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed by the same sign. Hearing none, the resolution is adopted. Ordinance is second reading. We will not vote on these tonight. We will vote on them on 2/26. Ordinance 02405, which read by title only, City Attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ordinance number O-24-05, an ordinance amending ordinance 23-25, the 2035 Winter Haven Comprehensive Plan, 2035 Future Land Use Map Series, by revising the Future Land Use Map Series by assigning Neighborhood Mixed Use Hub Future Land Use to one annexed parcel, repealing all ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for the administrative correction of scrivener's errors, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. The general location, a parcel generally located at the northwest corner of Cypress Gardens Boulevard and Lamplight Lane Southeast. The area covered by this request is 2.16 plus or minus acres. Thank you.
Thank you. City Manager.
Mayor and Commissioners, Tim Campbell is requesting the city assign neighborhood mixed use Hub Future Land Use in Commercial Highway C3 zoning district to an annexed parcel totaling 2.16 plus or minus acres. This parcel was annexed into the city on June 26th of 2023. Petitioner proposes for the property to be developed with commercial uses similar to other C3 properties along the Cypress Gardens Boulevard corridor. Property is surrounded by single-family residential to the north, a dental office and single-family residential to the east, Cypress Gardens Boulevard to the south, and a gas station and convenience store to the west. Maximum potential square footage under the proposed neighborhood mixed-use future land use would be 94,090 square feet. Your chart within your fact sheet depicts what the available water and sewer and transportation levels are for this area and for this property. Notation that final concurrency is determined at the time the property receives its site plan approval and is developed. When C3 development standards and on-site parking requirements and stormwater requirements are applied to the property, the actual maximum square footage would likely be less, as would the impact. The requested neighborhood mixed-use future land use is consistent with the surrounding city uses and designations and the former Polk County land use designation. There's no direct financial impact to the city with this request. Planning Commission at its January 2nd, 2024 regular meeting voted unanimously to recommend approval. Staff's review of this request yields the following conclusions. The assignment of the neighborhood mixed-use hub future land use in C3 zoning district is generally consistent with the former Polk County future land use and surrounding city uses and designations, and there is sufficient public infrastructure capacity to accommodate the maximum theoretical development under C3. Staff recommends City Commission advance ordinance 02405 to second reading. Thank you.
Thank you, City Manager. Even though we won't vote tonight, I will allow anyone from the audience that would like to speak to this ordinance to do so at this time. State your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Commissioners. My name is Tim Campbell with the law firm of Clark Campbell Lancaster Workman and Airth, 500 South Florida Avenue, Lakeland, Florida. I know you like it to be brief, so I just wanted to point out this is has been annexed into the city of Winter Haven so that it can be developed with Winter Haven Utilities and is part of the city's comprehensive plan and zoning ordinance. It is consistent. It presently has a Polk County land use of neighborhood activity center, which allows the same type of uses as the land use and zoning district that we are requesting. And as you heard from your city manager, Heather, and your staff have found that the requested land use and zoning are consistent with uses in the surrounding area, and the Planning Commission unanimously recommended approval. I will point out, because Commissioner Yates was there and your staff, two of the residents on Lamplighter Lane, I think it is, there to the north, were present. They didn't have any issue with our use. They actually had fences and structures that were over their boundaries. So we've talked to them, met with them, had our surveyor back out, and they are going to need to move one of their fences. There's one structure that's barely over the line, and the purchaser and the applicant in this case have agreed to allow them not to have to move a building. So for any of those who were kind of at that meeting, we just want to let you know that we've addressed that, and so we have no outstanding objections from any of the neighbors. Thank you for your consideration, and I won't say the same thing for the next hearing for the zoning. Stand available for any questions that you have.
Thank you. Any questions? All right, thank you. Is there anyone else? All right, as previously stated, we will vote on this on 226. Ordinance 02406, which is the zoning. Would you read by title only, City Attorney?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ordinance number O-24-06, an ordinance amending Chapter 21 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Winter Haven, Florida, by assigning Commercial Highway C3 zoning district to an annexed parcel, repealing all ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for the administrative correction of scrivener's errors, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. General location of parcel generally located at the northwest corner of Cypress Gardens Boulevard and Lamplight Lane southeast. The area covered by this request is 2.16 plus or minus acres. Thank you.
Thank you, City Manager.
Mayor and Commissioners, this is a companion ordinance that speaks to the zoning for the same property, and staff recommends it be advanced to second reading.
Okay, this ordinance will advance to the second reading, but if there's anyone from the audience that would like to speak to this, we would allow you to do so. All right, thank you. Commissioner?
Quick question, Mayor. We had a lively discussion on this too, and we wanted Mr. Campbell to explain something to us, but I don't remember what it was. It had something to do with this chart on page 2 of 7, but does anybody remember what we were going to ask him?
Well,
Since he's here?
what it was specifically was addressing the apartments further to the west on the, what I thought was a 10% commitment. Actually, turns out, I guess it was a 5% commitment on affordable housing for the Lake
Carlton
Dexter.
and Lake Dexter?
Yeah, so I think that was part of the discussion. On this one, it was more specifically just in the trips was the discussion, but I don't think Mr. Campbell was needed for any of that clarification. It was really just the Carlton at Lake Dexter allocation.
We just knew he was going to be here tonight, and I
Yeah.
said, let's grab him while he's here, so, but.
And Mayor and Commissioners, for what it's worth, the staff is in dialogue with the, I guess it's the Development and Management Company with Carlton at Lake Dexter. Mr. Labby has been chasing that down with respect to that.
I'm not familiar with the issue, but I'll be glad to help. That's the Carlton Arms Group and the Mahaffey Company. And I recall the allocation of affordable housing pursuant to the city's ordinance, but I'm glad to participate with Mr. Labby in getting you the answer that you need.
All right, thank you. All right. All right. We will now move to ordinance O-2407. Read by title only, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ordinance number O-24-07, an ordinance amending the Winter Haven Code of Ordinances, Chapter 10, Section 10-3, high water marks, and Chapter 21, Article Roman numeral 2, Division 3, Section 21-70, waterfront properties, for the purpose of clarifying high water setback measurements and elevations, providing for repeal of conflicting ordinances, providing severability, providing for codification, providing for the administrative correction of scrivener's errors, and providing an effective date. Thank you.
Thank you. City Manager?
Mayor and Commissioners, Section 21-70 of the Winter Haven Code of Ordinances provides setback requirements for waterfront properties. Specifically, special setback standards are provided for principal structures, accessory structures, and stormwater management areas. In recent months, it's come into question how the high water mark setback is measured from seawalls, particularly those installed along lake interconnecting canals. The code is currently silent in this regard. Proposed changes will clearly state the setback measurement is made from the back or landward side of the seawall to the applicable structure. In addition, the established high water elevations for the city's lakes will be moved from this section of 21-70 from Chapter 10 of the Code of Ordinances. There's no direct financial impact to the city with this request. Planning Commission at its January 2nd, 2024 regular meeting unanimously voted to recommend approval of this request. Staff is recommending City Commission approve Ordinance 24-07 and move towards second reading. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. As previously stated, we will have the second reading on 226. However, if there's anyone from the audience that would like to speak to this audience, you may do so at this time. Seeing none, we're good. All right, next item, new business. We have none. Commissioner reports. Commissioner Dantzler.
Okay, not a lot to report on. We had an AHAC committee, my first one of being the liaison on that. And the reason that I was making such a big deal about it is we had a really good meeting, really good discussion. New president is Brad Beatty. Abdul's very helpful. I guess he just left. But our problems have been we just haven't been able to get a quorum there. And we haven't been able to actually get our application in for our SHIP funds. It's late. And so the reason that we're pushing this tonight is so tomorrow they're going to have a meeting, then they can actually make the application for the SHIP funds. But we've got to have 5 people there of 8. So that's why we're trying to expand the committees, what this is all about. So I'm hopeful that things are going to really progress nicely with that committee. Everybody is on for 2 more years, and we're certainly looking for more people to join the committee. But it's slotted. In other words, there's certain parts of there's certain occupations or parts of town or whatever, so, but if you know anybody that has an interest in workforce housing, affordable housing, please ask them to pick up an application to see if they can fit in somewhere. And then, of course, I went to the Harmony ribbon cutting, went out there to see it's not Pulte Homes, who is it? Who's building those houses out there? Lennar Homes.
Lennar.
No. Building all those houses out there, and
D.R. Horton.
D.R. Horton, that's what, okay.
Pete's with.
What a place, that place is going to be huge when it's all done, so, and in today's world, it seemed affordable, but still was over $300,000, so I don't know what affordable really means, but a nice place and going to be a nice subdivision when it finally gets finished, so that's it for me.
All right. Mr. Mercer?
I went to the Greater Winter Haven Youth Baseball Opening Day Jamboree at Saratoga. The staff had really done a great job on the fields. They looked excellent. They were just, the red just looked, they were perfect. So the best I've ever seen them. So I also was on an Incubate debate at Florida Southern College. A judge also, Commissioner Huffman was the judge from Haines City. So I think all of you commissioners probably will be salt. They seem to be doing that. I know the mayor was on one too. These were high school. There was one girl from Winter Haven and the surrounding. There were other students on that. And then there was an individual speech. I was there from about 1 to about 5, listening to those two teams, I guess, that they do an excellent job. It's really, they really have their information, their facts, it's just so great to see them and see them at that age, but it brings back a lot of memories when I was in college of doing this on the business team and doing that, and I competed in finance and accounting and some of those fields too. But one thing that I did do is win 2 years in a row, state of Florida for Mrs. Future Business Executive. That was a long time ago. Neighborhood, I attended the Neighborhood Service Center, their first annual All Red formal gala, and some of the other commissioners were there, and the mayor. Also, the Chamber Coffee and Conversation at Haven Coffee Roasters. The former mayor of St. Pete spoke for 610 and what some of their new developments that they're doing. I attended the Ridge League. Lake Wells was the sponsor for that dinner, and of course we had a speaker, and then I also did a couple of the Florida League morning calls at 9, but I missed this morning at 9, so all I have is old news, so that's all I have.
All right. Commissioner Dollison?
I have thoroughly enjoyed orientation. I'm still being orientated, and it's a great process. I want to commend the city for the great job that you do. It's been very insightful and helpful to understand the inner workings of the city, but also, more importantly, the staff who actually are making the difference in our city. And so I appreciate the process. I was speaking to someone the other day, a new commissioner in the city. I won't name the city, but they do not even have an orientation process. And so I'm considered our city to be exceptional in that regard. Planning last week, I was to be at the first planning meeting. Unfortunately, I had a prior engagement that would not allow me to attend. Now I'm looking forward to that. I was able to attend, or I actually did take the time to go out to the fly-in. I won't speak of what they call it, but it was really nice. I think probably about 60 aircraft or so that flew in, and it was kind of for the older guys, as they call it. And but I took the time to meet the staff at the airport, and they also gave me a tour, some of the expansion and other opportunities that were made available at Winter Haven Airport. It's exciting to see that. Also able to attend the gala for Neighborhood Service Center, their first bash, and it was exceptional, really nice, and we all had a good time. I told you it was the grown folks crowd, and but it's good to see the Neighborhood Service Center bounce back and rebound as it has, as a very viable place for many of our seniors to spend time, quality time, and not just sitting at home with nothing to do. So it's just refreshing to see that. And I want to thank our city for, one, supporting that effort and really being there to help the Neighborhood Service Center come back to what I remember it to be. And so I'm appreciative of that. And look forward to more orientation coming forward, and we're excited about that.
All right, thank you. Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you. Just a few items this evening. Attended the Chamber Economic Summit. Finally had an economist with a sense of humor up there. He did a good job that morning. Could actually understand most of it. The outcome is, I think at the end of the day, nobody knows. So we're hopeful that rates will start to fall and growth will continue, but it just, it's all in the numbers at this point, so we'll wait and see what happens. Attended my first airport advisory meeting. There's a great group out there, a lot of like-minded individuals and future goals for the Winter Haven Airport, and I think that is moving in the right direction out there, and I look forward to continuing to serve and learn more on that advisory group. Had an opportunity to tour the Salvation Army building, the one that is currently essentially being shut down, where the short-term shelter, thank you. It's a lean operation out there, you can tell. Had an opportunity to go over a lot of the cost or what they spent on a monthly basis, over an annual basis, and who they served, and kind of got a better understanding of what has transpired over the last 12 months out there. I think there's some neat opportunities that could potentially be in the works with other community partners out there. So I'm hopeful that something will come to fruition there, and hopefully we'll be hearing that as a commission from those groups sooner than later, because that shelter is something that's needed. And I think that if there is an opportunity for someone to take it over, it needs to be from a group that's here in Winter Haven, not an outside group. So we'll wait and see what happens there. Also attended the TPO board meeting. I'm going to marry that with also attending the CFMPOA Alliance meeting, which I'm a member of that board through the TPO board meeting. And it's all about transportation. And we hear it, on a daily basis that the transportation is off the chain around the city of Winter Haven. And I think a lot of times people feel like that's a unique situation. It's only happening in Winter Haven. But sitting on these committee meetings, it is happening all over Polk County, it is happening all over Central Florida, and it's, you feel, I think, a lot of the times like you're spinning the wheels, but you're not going anywhere. And it takes time to get these things to the drawing board, and then funded, and then built, and you could make the argument, well, we should have done all this before we started to grow, but unfortunately you can't pay for it all if you don't have the growth. So it's the cart and the horse, and which one comes first. So I think everyone is in the mode of playing catch up, and everyone sees a need for better infrastructure for transportation throughout Central Florida. I think we're going to get there. We've got a lot of great projects that are currently happening in the city of Winter Haven, and unfortunately, it just takes time at this point. Finally, attended the Ridge League of Cities dinner, where I had the honor of being sworn in as the treasurer, and that was the Ridge League meeting out at the Lake Wales and Lake Ashton, yeah, Lake Wales, Lake Ashton. And that was a great event, great time. Food was, it's not my kind of food. It was New Orleans food. I'm like, oh, I'm more of a hamburger and french fry kind of guy, but it was really good. It was great to hear an legislative update from Tallahassee and hear also from other communities of kind of things that they're facing and meeting with other individuals out there. So I look forward to continuing to learn more from other Ridge League cities in the capacity as treasurer for that group. So with that, that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. All right, I'd like to start off by saying welcome to former City Commissioner Twyford. This is in the back of the room. Glad to see you. All right. I attended I want to start by attending the baseball jamboree. Had the honor, Brad, of throwing out the first pitch.
Did you bounce it?
God, you.
That's all we wanted.
It was a strike though.
Okay.
It was definitely a strike, but it did bounce. So it was good. It was good. It was good. But I mean, that facility is really has been upgraded. And the thing that really impressed me is that they told me that their cameras have been installed and that the games are going to be televised so that if you could actually watch the games out there and not have to be at, and I said, now, wait a minute, that's really over the top. But that was great news. Attended the TPO meeting, and one of the things about the TPO that they said at our meeting is that they gave us a little update on to some of the improvements that are going to be on I-4 between basically the 429 and Kathleen Road. So there are going to be some improvements that are going to be made that will help to, I won't say eliminate it. There's no way to eliminate the traffic on I-4. There's not enough lanes. If we could put 5 on each, 10 on each side, that wouldn't eliminate it. There's not enough land to do that. So we can't build our way out of it. We got to improve our way out of it. But at any rate, hopefully we're working on it. Had a meeting with our representative that represents Winter Haven now, Scott Franklin. He made his rounds and he came to talk with us because we basically have a earmark that's in the current federal budget for the city of Winter Haven, but they haven't passed a federal budget. So hopefully that earmark will at some time be funded. Attended the Neighborhood Service Center, and you should have been there because they had a ballroom dancing team, and I know that you and your wife are experts at the ballroom dancing, and so they had time for us regular folks that can't ballroom dance to get on the floor and dance too. And so I hadn't danced in I don't know when, but I did get up and try a little something, and I know that you would have been really good if you could have.
I'd have been very proud to see you that evening, sir. That's what I was told earlier today, that you were tearing it up.
Well, I'm just glad to see that the Neighborhood Service Center is back open and operating. And they've got a reserved spot there just for me because I meet the criteria to attend the Neighborhood Service Center. So they got a reserved area just for me that I'm looking forward to one day. Attended the pension board meeting, and we were really pleased that our investment portfolio did so much better in 2023 than it did in 2022. I attended the PRWC meeting. We received a preliminary report on what the actual alternative water that we are going to be purchasing from the PRWC, what that's going to cost. And unfortunately, it's costing a lot more than what was projected of basically even 3 years ago. So, but it's what we have to do, and so we're moving right ahead with that. Attended the FRICA, the Florida Regional Council Association, of which I'm a member of as a result of being on the Central Florida Regional Planning Council, thanks to Commissioner Tryford back there, because he was the representative that I replaced. But it was a good meeting, and the meeting was held in Tallahassee. And finally, I attended the ribbon cutting at the Carlton on Lake Dexter, and that is a very good property, good-looking property. And we've already had a little discussion about the set-aside for affordable housing, and so hopefully we'll come up with a way to make sure that that actually takes place. And with that, that's all I have. City Attorney, have anything?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Commission, nothing this evening other than just happy birthday to Brad and to MJ, and happy belated birthday to, I believe, City Clerk. So, that's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. City Manager?
Thank you, Mayor. A couple items. First off, yes, I was not on vacation last week. MJ and I had a pleasure of attending the Winter Institute, sponsored by FCCMA. I ended up having to go up earlier in the day on Wednesday, so I just want to publicly thank him for covering the meeting. Hope you guys had as much fun with him as I did watching it. I think he did pretty well that night, although he did rush to St. Augustine to meet up with me, I think, to make sure that I was coming back. So, that conference, by the way, was 2 solid days of learning about artificial intelligence and how artificial intelligence is coming into play in local government and in the services that we provide. Fascinating on so many fronts. Scary on many others. I'm happy to say that where we're using artificial intelligence probably in more ways than most people understand, and I would say that everybody in this room, from what I learned, if you're using a spell check on your word processing software, you're using artificial intelligence and have been for some time. It's just constantly evolving into what we have today, and how we're using it to manage infrastructure and help us gather data to make decisions long term is really fascinating. I wanted this evening, I wanted to take an opportunity to introduce you to 2 new employees that we have. First, I'd like to introduce you to Deputy Chief of Police Vance Monroe, who is in the back. Vance, if you want to come to the podium, if you would, sir. So Vance joined us Monday, a week ago today. So he's been on for 1 solid week. He shows up every day, so we must be doing something good to keep him around. Vance is a seasoned professional with the Polk County Sheriff's Office, 28 years, I believe it was, with the SO, and has joined our team as our Deputy Chief, and we are so excited to have him on board. Let him tell you a quick couple things about himself, if you would, sir.
Sir. Well, Mayor, Commissioners, good evening. Also, citizens. I'm kind of shy. Yeah, right. Hey, come on now. Let them judge for themselves. No, I am extremely excited to be here. I'm thankful for this opportunity, and I want to introduce myself here. My journey's a little bit, it's a little different here. Coming down here. First, I was in the military, just a little bit under 10 years. My last duty station was in Boston, Massachusetts, Hanscom Field, where I was stationed there in the Air Force. So if we have some veterans here, love veterans, but I'm married. I've been married for 34 years. Wife named Carolyn. We have 3 kids. 3 kids that I would definitely love to trade, give them to anyone here. You're more than welcome to adopt my kids. I wouldn't trade them for nothing in the world. I moved down here, been here in Florida for over, sweet Jesus, it's been a long time. Don't know, but I'm a Floridian now, so it don't matter. I'm here. Been Sheriff's Office, like I said, for over 28 years. Moved down to Florida for the job at the Sheriff's Office. Been there, been several jobs at the sheriff's office. But I can tell you this, in 28 years, and I've been talking to several people throughout the city, I've never, ever since I've been at the sheriff's office, been up at 4 o'clock in the morning excited to come to work. Never in my 28 years of being in law enforcement. And that's just a testament to the quality of people that you have working here in the city. And I'm not just saying that because I'm here. I've been preaching that since I've been here from day one. And I am truly excited for this next venture in my life here. And I am truly, truly thankful for this opportunity and the opportunity to serve the citizens here. We got some great things coming ahead, and I'm telling you, thank you for the opportunity. To the city manager and I call him my chief here. And my chief back there hiding out in the back, where is he at? There he is. Who's been great since I've been there, and I thank every single one of you here for providing me this opportunity. So.
Thank you, Vance.
Thank you.
And Commissioners, so you're aware, Vance's last role with the SO was over the, and I always get this right, I'm going to say Central District, or East Division, which has the Central District and everything else, basically the eastern half of the county from Point Sienna down through Frostproof, including Winter Haven, and that included the contractual resources that were with the city of Eagle Lake, Dundee, and Frostproof that the sheriff provides there. So he's got good understanding of the background of municipal operations as well. So we're excited to have him on board and look forward to a great career with him. The other individual I'd like to introduce you this evening is Cedric Cox. Cedric, if you wouldn't mind stepping to the podium as well. Some of you have had the chance to meet Cedric. I think that Cedric was getting orientation the same day that Commissioner Dollison was getting orientation about his own department. So Cedric joined us last month. Last Monday was a really good day for Vance to join us and Cedric to join us, and they are two peas in a pod. They both are extremely shy individuals, I'm sure. But Cedric comes to us as the new Assistant Director of the Department of Economic Opportunity and Community Investment. Eric has never been so excited at 4 o'clock in the morning to come to work either. He now has a right hand, and Cedric brings with him a wealth of experience and understanding of programs like SHIP and affordable housing from what he did with the county. So I'll give him a few minutes just to introduce himself, if you would.
Good evening, Mayor, City Commissioners. I'm excited to be here. I'm originally from Plant City. I graduated high school in 1983, joined the Air Force, stayed in the Air Force about 5 years, played basketball, so I was TDY a lot. I traveled all over the world. I mean, Japan, Hawaii, the Philippines, you name it. Came back to Plant City, didn't like the makeup of the city, so I decided I'm moving to Polk County. Came to Lakeland. I stayed in Lakeland maybe a year or two. Relocated to Auburndale and then Winter Haven in about 98 or 2000, and I liked Winter Haven. I've been here ever since. I have over 30 years experience in affordable housing from ESG, SHIP, Home, CDBG, you name it, and I'm excited to be here. I appreciate the opportunity for the city of Winter Haven. I'll echo the sentiments of the gentleman that was here prior to me. They've been treating me very well here, and I've never been excited to wake up in the morning. My wife told me, said, "Who are you?" And I said, "A happy man." And I just want to thank you all for giving me the opportunity to add value to the city of Winter Haven.
So we are grateful to have two key positions in our leadership team filled. These are outstanding gentlemen. Some of us have known for a number of years through leadership programs and through our engagement with the county's housing program, particularly in the Boggy area. That's where I first came to know Cedric many years ago. So a lot of good stuff happening. You should feel confident that your team is getting a lot more depth and some new experience coming in that will only make the future that much brighter for Winter Haven. Last thing I want to ask for from the commission this evening is a liaison. We have a RFQ, a request for qualifications solicitation for design criteria package and owner's representative professional services. This is for the water recycling facility at Pollard Road, so which is a fancy way of saying wastewater treatment plant. But this is for the firm that will do the design criteria package that will ultimately fold into a design build solicitation. This entity that is hired for that package will also serve as an owner's representative for professional services, which is kind of the ongoing construction oversight and CEI work. So if we could get a designated liaison for that.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I nominate Tracy Mercer to be the liaison.
I'll second it. Are you willing, Tracy?
I'll do it. yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, and that's all I have this evening.
Deputy City Manager.
Good evening, Mayor and City Commissioners. Just again, thank you for taking it easy on me Wednesday night. I have a fun note for you this evening. So FWC has announced that they'll be placing a special trophy bass in Lake Rochelle. So this bass has a pink tag on it. Anybody who catches that fish will win a $5,000 gift card to Bass Pro and then be entered into a drawing for an additional $10,000 gift card. It's part of their trophy catch program to encourage fishing in the area. But
when does it start?
So they put it in Lake Rochelle, and I believe they put it in there maybe Monday night.
Let you catch him.
Monday. So, and that's it. Other than that, happy birthday to my birthday twin, Commissioner Dantzler.
Thank you. City Clerk.
So if we can't find you, we go looking at Lake Rochelle is what I'm hearing.
That's right.
Thank you for the birthday wishes. So the only thing that I have is that last Thursday, Latanya and I attended Florida Association of City Clerks webinar regarding Form 6. It was a 2-hour webinar, very informative. As I said this morning in staff meeting, the Commission on Ethics, they made it very simple to understand. Individual slides for every single thing that you'd be seeing on the screen. So we have that on hand. So when you get to the point where you have to do your Form 6s, we're available to assist if you need that. And I'll also be sending you an email with some resources. That's all I have.
All right. I got an email about the Form 6 that you can't submit it paper-wise. You gotta set an account and do it online. That
Yes.
you can't do it.
So if someone doesn't have an
Paper-wise.
email, they have to create a new email. 'Cause
Yes.
It must be online.
Yes.
And that's all I have.
All right. Emergency matters not received for the agenda. One last time, anyone from the audience that would like to say anything, I'll allow you to do so at this time. If not, motion to adjourn. We are adjourned.